grooming his preteen daughter.
This little girl, reportedly his 9-year-old daughter.
And a glimpse of Kim Jong-un's daughter.
Put his daughter and possible heir on display.
Kim Jong-un, a figure known for his unyielding grip on power, has a daughter. To most, she's nothing more than a shadow, a rare glimpse seen only through carefully controlled moments. Her life is a world apart, cloaked in mystery, built upon a foundation of power, fear, and unimaginable expectations. Born into a regime where loyalty is everything and survival is a daily battle, she faces a future unlike any other. The world may know her father's face, his threats, and his cruelty, but little is known about the life of the one who will someday inherit it all. Behind closed doors, the pressure to carry on his legacy weighs heavily. But what is it really like for a young girl, growing up in the most dangerous and unpredictable environment on Earth? What does it mean to be the child of a dictator who demands absolute loyalty and at the same time holds your every move under the harshest scrutiny? In a country where privacy is non-existent, the truth about Kim Jong-un's daughter remains buried, but the whispers are growing louder. The life she leads, both privileged and perilous, holds dark secrets that are waiting to be revealed. Kim Jae's unconventional upbringing. Kim Jae first stepped into the public eye at just 10 years old, a time when most children are worried about schoolwork and playdates. Instead, she was by her father's side during a high-stakes missile test in November 2022. This wasn't a one-time appearance. It marked the beginning of her unique and highly publicized role in North Korea's rigidly controlled political theater. Since then, she's been seen attending military parades, sitting at the forefront of major state events, and even participating in celebrations that shape North Korea's image to the world. But why would a child be placed in such a high-pressure, deeply political environment? Is Kim Jae merely a symbol of her father's vision for the future, or could she be a key player in North Korea's succession plans? Speculation is rife that Kim Jong-un is grooming her as his successor, despite her tender age. In a country where leadership is often shrouded in mystique, the decision to expose her to the public so early is nothing short of groundbreaking. She's been presented by state media as the precious and later the respected child, terms that North Korea doesn't use lightly. These titles seem to foreshadow an elevated status, leaving many to wonder if she's being carefully prepared to one day lead one of the world's most secretive nations. Kim Jong-un's family background. The Kim dynasty thrives on secrecy, but what little we know about Kim Jong-un's family paints a picture of power, privilege, and paranoia. Kim Jong-un himself is a product of this opaque world. Born into a family where power is the ultimate currency, his own rise to leadership was meticulously planned. Unlike his father and grandfather, Kim Jong-un spent much of his youth abroad, attending school in Switzerland under a false identity. There, he was exposed to Western culture, reportedly becoming a fan of basketball and action movies, a sharp contrast to the hermit kingdom he would later rule. His Western education didn't soften him, though. Upon assuming power in 2011, Kim quickly demonstrated his grip on the regime through purges and displays of military might. His wife, Ri Sol-ju, is equally enigmatic. A former singer and cheerleader, Ri's transformation into the First Lady of North Korea reflects the carefully curated image the Kim family presents to the world. The couple has 3 children, born in 2010, 2013, and 2017. While North Korean media rarely acknowledges them, Kim Jae, believed to be their eldest child, has emerged as the most visible and talked about member of the next generation. But here's the twist. North Korea's leadership isn't just a family affair, it's a dynasty. By introducing Kim Jae to the public, Kim Jong-un may be breaking traditions in some ways, while reinforcing the idea that only a Kim can rule the nation. Kim Jae's public appearances enroll a 10-year-old debuting at a missile test? It sounds like the plot of a dystopian movie, but for Kim Jae, it's just another day in the family business. When Kim Jae first appeared alongside her father during the November 2022 missile test, the world was stunned. She wasn't just there to observe. Her presence was highly symbolic. Kim Jong-un held her hand, stood protectively beside her, and showcased her as part of the regime's image of strength and continuity. Her subsequent appearances at military parades and New Year celebrations further cemented her status as more than just a figurehead. North Korean state media has lavished praise on Kim Jae, describing her as the precious child of the regime. More recently, they've started calling her the respected child, a term usually reserved for leaders. This shift in language is no accident. In North Korea, every word in state propaganda is deliberate, designed to send a message both to the domestic audience and to the world. Could this be the start of her grooming for leadership? And if so, how will the world react to a future leader being trained under such extraordinary circumstances? Analysts have noted that Kim Jae's appearances are highly strategic. By placing her in the spotlight, Kim Jong-un may be attempting to solidify his family's hold on power, while also signaling stability in the face of external pressures. It's a bold move, especially in a country where succession planning has always been a closely guarded secret until the last moment. But there's another layer to this story. North Korea's heavily militarized society often portrays its leaders as almost divine figures. By introducing Kim Jae to this world so early, Kim Jong-un may be trying to weave her into this mythology. However, it also exposes her to immense pressure and scrutiny, raising questions about what kind of future she might face. Behind the pomp and spectacle lies a much darker question. What does the future hold for Kim Jae? And what does her emergence mean for North Korea's stability? For now, Kim Jae's role remains largely symbolic. She's too young to wield actual power, but her presence sends a powerful message. It hints at the longevity of the Kim dynasty, a stark reminder to the world that the regime is not going anywhere. Yet it also raises the stakes for the future. If she is indeed being groomed for leadership, she'll have to navigate the challenges of maintaining her family's iron grip on a nation while dealing with international isolation and potential internal dissent. And what about Kim Jong-un? Is he secure enough in his power to risk placing his daughter in the spotlight? Or does this reveal a vulnerability, a need to shore up support for his family's continued rule? The introduction of Kim Jae to the public adds a new dimension to the story of the Kim dynasty. It's a tale of ambition, calculated risk, and a dynasty that continues to defy expectations. Whether she eventually takes the reins or remains a figurehead, Kim Jae's unconventional upbringing will undoubtedly shape her, and possibly the future of North Korea. In a regime built on secrecy and control, the decision to thrust a child into the limelight feels both shocking and deliberate. What happens next could rewrite the rules of one of the world's most enigmatic dictatorships. Symbolism in Kim Jae's presence. Kim Jae, the mysterious young daughter of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, has become an enigmatic figure in global headlines. While her appearances may seem fleeting and almost random, every moment she steps into the spotlight is meticulously planned. Her presence isn't just about family pride, it's about power, symbolism, and the survival of a regime shrouded in secrecy. One of the most striking aspects of her public appearances is her proximity to missiles and military events. Imagine this: a preteen, standing tall beside the most devastating weapons of mass destruction, flanked by stern-faced generals. It's a picture that screams more than family bonding. It's a staged declaration of strength. A child among missiles. Is it innocence or intimidation? By placing Kim Jae at the heart of these military displays, the regime signals continuity and an unbroken lineage of leadership. The message is clear. The Kim family remains untouchable, its future secured through generations. But it doesn't stop there. Her very presence reinforces North Korea's hereditary monarchy, a dynastic system that runs counter to modern governance. In a country where the name Kim is synonymous with power, Kim Jae's appearances subtly remind citizens that leadership isn't just about political strategy, it's in their bloodline. It's an unspoken reminder that their lives revolve around this family, whether they like it or not. What does it mean when a regime parades its future before the world? Interestingly, Kim Jong-un uses his daughter to paint himself in a softer light. Compared to his father, Kim Jong-il, who was shrouded in mystery and known for his cold demeanor, and his grandfather, Kim Il-sung, the larger-than-life revolutionary, Kim Jong-un attempts to craft an image of relatability. By showing up with his daughter, he signals, "I'm not just a ruler, I'm a father." It's a calculated attempt to humanize him, even if the world knows better. Kim Jae's life and restrictions. While her public appearances make headlines, the real story of Kim Jae lies behind closed doors, doors that most will never see beyond. She reportedly lives a life of extreme privilege, surrounded by luxury that contrasts starkly with the harsh realities faced by ordinary North Koreans. Imagine palatial residences, foreign tutors, and access to resources that even the elite in Pyongyang can only dream of. Yet, her golden cage comes with its own set of iron bars. Kim Ju-ae's interactions with the outside world are tightly controlled, and her social circle is deliberately limited. What is freedom worth when your every move is dictated by loyalty to power? This isolation isn't just for her safety. It's about ensuring she remains loyal to the regime. Friendships, relationships, and even casual interactions are meticulously vetted to prevent any influence that could threaten her loyalty. Despite the regime's anti-Western rhetoric, Kim Ju-ae is rumored to have access to foreign media and culture, albeit under strict control. While the average North Korean might risk death for watching a South Korean drama, Kim Ju-ae could likely access it at her leisure. But this privilege comes at a cost. Every book she reads, every show she watches, and every piece of information she consumes is carefully curated to align with the regime's narrative. Can privilege ever outweigh the cost of living under a dictator's shadow? Marriage prospects. As Kim Ju-ae grows older, her role in the regime's strategy becomes even more intriguing. Speculation abounds about her future, particularly when it comes to marriage. In dynasties like the Kim family's, marriage is rarely about love. It's a chess move on the political board. Could her marriage decide the fate of North Korea's alliances? Some experts believe her marriage could be used as a diplomatic tool. For instance, an alliance through marriage with a key political figure could stabilize relationships within the region, or even solidify internal power structures. It's not unheard of. Throughout history, royal marriages have been used to cement alliances, and the Kims are nothing if not students of power dynamics. However, there's another layer to this speculation: the importance of preserving the Kim family bloodline. In North Korea, the Kim family isn't just leadership. It's almost deified. Keeping their lineage pure is paramount to maintaining their divine status in the eyes of their people. This raises questions about how much agency Kim Ju-ae will have in her future. What happens when personal choice clashes with the weight of a nation's expectations? The implications of her eventual marriage extend beyond her personal life. Who she marries could influence the trajectory of North Korea's power dynamics for decades to come. Will her husband be a silent figure, propped up to legitimize her potential role as a leader? Or will he play an active role in the regime, shifting the balance of power? These questions add an air of suspense to her life, as her decisions, or the decisions made for her, will reverberate across the regime. While the world speculates about Kim Ju-ae's future, the reality is that her life is anything but her own. She may live in luxury, but she's also a pawn in a high-stakes game of propaganda and power. Her every step is choreographed to serve the regime's agenda, and her identity is intrinsically tied to the family name. The tragedy of her existence is the contrast between what the world sees and what she likely feels. To the outside world, she's a symbol of continuity and strength. To herself, she might be a young girl grappling with expectations so immense that they could crush anyone else. What's it like to be both a princess and a prisoner? Media attention and speculation. Analysts and media seem to latch onto every time Kim Ju-ae steps into the public eye. Her appearances often coincide with highly publicized military events, such as missile tests, where she is shown standing next to her father, surrounded by North Korea's military elite. These meticulously staged moments are not mere family outings. They serve as a carefully calculated message to both domestic audiences and the world. Kim Ju-ae is someone important. But what does this importance mean? North Korea, being as opaque as it is, offers no concrete answers, leaving experts to interpret the limited information available. To some analysts, these appearances suggest that Kim Jong-un may be preparing the world for his daughter to eventually succeed him, a bold and unusual move in a patriarchal society like North Korea's. Others, however, argue that her presence is purely symbolic, a human touch to bolster the Kim family's mystique. After all, dynasties thrive on continuity, and showcasing the next generation helps solidify the regime's hold on power. Could Kim Ju-ae really be the first female leader of the world's most secretive state? The possibility keeps the world watching. Not all analysts agree on the implications of Kim Ju-ae's growing prominence. On one side of the debate, some view her as nothing more than a propaganda tool, a soft power figure intended to humanize a regime often associated with repression and nuclear ambitions. Her youth and innocence could be used to contrast the harsh realities of North Korea's political machine. On the other side, some argue her appearances hint at a carefully laid succession plan. In a regime that values lineage above all, showcasing Kim Ju-ae alongside military leaders could signal her future role as the mother of the nation, or even the leader herself. Is North Korea rewriting its patriarchal playbook? The idea of a female heir in a regime built on hyper-masculine military imagery is as fascinating as it is controversial. While international experts speculate, defectors provide a glimpse into how Kim Ju-ae is perceived within North Korea. According to defectors, the average North Korean sees her as part of the revered Kim family, but does not necessarily view her as a future leader, at least not yet. Her appearances are reportedly framed as part of her father's leadership, reinforcing his authority rather than her own. However, the heavily controlled state media does its part to sow the seeds of reverence. Photos of Kim Ju-ae at military sites are circulated with captions that emphasize her bright future and her role as a beloved child of the nation. These portrayals subtly nudge the population to accept her as an integral part of the regime's continuity. But what happens if the seeds of reverence don't sprout? In a nation where public opinion is controlled but not entirely predictable, the long-term success of this strategy remains uncertain. Privacy concerns surrounding her name. Even as Kim Ju-ae is thrust into the limelight, her identity is shrouded in secrecy. A peculiar and unsettling report emerged from North Korea recently. Individuals who share her name are being forced to change it. Yes, you read that right. In an Orwellian twist, people named Ju-ae are reportedly being ordered by the government to adopt new names to protect the sanctity of the leader's daughter. This practice isn't entirely new in North Korea. During Kim Jong-il's reign, individuals named after him or his father, Kim Il-sung, were also compelled to change their names. Such measures are a stark reminder of the regime's obsession with elevating the ruling family above the ordinary. Imagine being forced to change your name because it's deemed too sacred for you to bear. It's the kind of surreal reality that could only exist in a place like North Korea. For the affected individuals, the name change isn't just an administrative hassle, it's a deeply personal and often humiliating experience. Names carry immense cultural and familial significance, and being forced to abandon one's name can feel like erasure. This bizarre policy speaks volumes about the regime's grip on every aspect of life in North Korea. It highlights how even something as personal as a name isn't beyond state control. The government's justification? Protecting the dignity and identity of the Kim family. But for ordinary citizens, it's another reminder of how far removed they are from the privileges of their rulers. Could this obsession with control backfire? In a world increasingly aware of human rights violations, such stories add to the narrative of North Korea as a state that prioritizes family loyalty over individual freedoms. For those familiar with North Korea's history, the forced name changes fit into a broader pattern of the Kim family's quest for deification. From erecting towering statues to rewriting history books, the regime has always sought to place the Kim dynasty on a pedestal. The erasure of shared names is simply the latest chapter in this effort to blur the lines between the family and the state. But there's a more chilling implication. By controlling even the names people can use, the regime reinforces the idea that no aspect of life is beyond its reach. For North Koreans, this isn't just about privacy. It's about survival in a system where stepping out of line, even accidentally, can have dire consequences. Beyond the political and personal implications of Kim Ju-ae's rise, her emergence introduces a fascinating cultural contradiction in North Korea. The regime thrives on a blend of Confucian traditions and modern-day militaristic ideology, both of which heavily favor male leadership. Historically, women in North Korea have been relegated to secondary roles, often celebrated as mothers, workers, or loyalists, but rarely as leaders. Kim Ju-ae's public appearances disrupt this norm in ways that are both subtle and striking. By placing her at the forefront of state events, the regime is sending mixed messages. It venerates traditional family values while simultaneously elevating a young girl to a position traditionally reserved for men. Is this a sign of progress, or a calculated performance to appeal to global audiences? This duality reflects North Korea's precarious balancing act, between maintaining its rigid internal hierarchy and adapting its image for the international stage. The propaganda surrounding Kim Ju-ae also highlights the unique role of the Kim dynasty as not just rulers, but cultural icons. She is often dressed in Western-style clothing during her appearances, contrasting with the drab, uniformed looks of other North Korean officials. This choice alone is a subtle, yet powerful statement about her uniqueness and her connection to the outside world, a connection the average North Korean can never hope to experience. Could her image be crafted as a bridge between isolation and modernity? It's a strategy that, while innovative, might alienate the very population it seeks to inspire. Moreover, her upbringing is bound to be unlike any other North Korean child's experience. While the nation's children face food shortages, indoctrination, and a rigid education system, Kim Ju-ae likely enjoys privileges that would be unimaginable to her peers. This stark contrast isn't just a personal anomaly, it's a microcosm of the Kim family's separation from the realities faced by their people. Her visibility raises questions about how far the regime can push its narrative before the dissonance becomes too great to ignore. In a nation where public loyalty is enforced through propaganda and fear, Kim Ju-ae's carefully curated image walks a fine line between awe and resentment. Will her presence strengthen the Kim dynasty's grip, or will it expose cracks in a system that thrives on uniformity? Kim Ju-ae's story is a paradox wrapped in mystery. On one hand, her increasing public appearances suggest she's being groomed for something significant. On the other, the regime's draconian measures to protect her privacy reveal a deeply rooted fear of losing control. Could Kim Ju-ae be North Korea's future, or is she just a pawn in a much larger game? The answer remains as elusive as the regime itself, but one thing is clear: the world will be watching closely. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into the lives of the powerful and the hidden stories that shape our world.